No DQ Galaxy, we are live with a recap of the final episode of WWE Smackdown on Fox. It's been almost 5 years since WWE Smackdown premiered on Fox. I was there for the first episode of Fox at the Staples Center in Los Angeles, California. That was an interesting show. We all remember what happened with Brock Lesnar and Kofi Kingston. The Rock made an appearance. It's been a wild ride. We went from King Corbin pouring dog food down the body of Roman Reigns to the pandemic and then the Thunderdome, Roman Reigns becoming the tribal chief. We had Sami Zayn's feud with Roman Reigns. So many great memories over the past 5 years. SmackDown 2003 was, in my opinion, the best weekly show. It did fall a little bit in 2024. Next week, it's a new era. We'll see what happens when SmackDown moves over to the USA Network. My guess is they will take a hit next week as far as viewership goes. I think Jerry made a very accurate prediction. SmackDown typically does between 2 and 2.5 million viewers. When they move to SmackDown next week, it'll probably be similar to what Raw does, 1.6 to 1.8 million. Of course, the positive for WWE is once Raw moves to Netflix, that could open up the door for WWE to have a whole new audience. We'll see what happens. But anyways, let's talk about SmackDown, end of an era. We kicked off with footage from the Bash in Berlin pay-per-view event. Cody Rhodes, the Undisputed Champion, came to the ring. He called out the Bloodline. They came down to the ring. Solo entered the ring by himself without the Bloodline. He said he would have been champion at SummerSlam if it wasn't for Roman Reigns. He said he deserves a rematch. Crowd was chanting, "We want Roman." And then Cody said that if anybody deserves the match for the title, it's Jacob Fatu. He told Jacob to step up, and the crowd chanted, "Step up." We had Jacob stand on the apron, but then Solo Sikoa just stared a hole right through him, and Jacob was submissive. He said he loves Solo. Solo is his tribal chief. He stepped down. Crowd booed that. So Cody went to the next best thing. He proposed the match with Solo Sikoa for the title next week on the USA Network premiere, and Solo accepted, but he said, why wait? Bloodline came into the ring, but then the Street Profits and DIY got in the ring to even the odds. Then general manager Nick Aldis got in the ring, and he set up the main event for the show, an 8-man tag team match, but also he added for next week, it will be a steel cage match to prevent the Bloodline from interfering. Now, I've never seen a cage match where nobody interferes, right? Never happened ever in the history of wrestling. A steel cage match guarantees there will be no outside interference. Interesting that they're doing a cage match next week on SmackDown when AEW All Out, has a cage match as the main event. Next week, my guess is we'll probably see either Jimmy Uso and or Roman Reigns show up. Bloodline will likely try to interfere, and we'll have the advancement of the Bloodline versus Bloodline storyline. I expect next week's show to be very significant, being the first episode on the USA Network. This was a good opening segment to start off the show. Then we had Nia Jax confronting Tiffany Stratton backstage after Tiffany teased a Money in the Bank cash-in last week. And Tiffany responded by saying that Chelsea Green is just spreading lies about her. And then Nia Jax said maybe she'll be at ringside for Tiffany Stratton's match against Bayley, the former women's champion. We had Bayley versus Tiffany. It was back and forth in the early moments. Tiffany drop-kicked Bayley on the apron, took control of the match. She sent Bayley's shoulder into the ring post. Bayley was able to fight back. She suplexed Tiffany onto the floor, got her back in the ring, came off the top with the flying elbow, but Tiffany was able to kick out. Tiffany was in trouble. And at this point, Nia Jax showed up. Nia provided a distraction. Bayley hit the Bayley to belly, but was hurt. She could not make the cover. And then she went after Nia Jax with a suicide dive. She got back in the ring, and then Tiffany took advantage. However, as Tiffany had Bayley pinned, Nia Jax was trying to get a piece of Bayley. She got on the apron, and the referee was distracted. Tiffany did not get the win. Bayley was able to recover, hit the rose plant, and picked up the win over Tiffany. Good angle here to continue to build up dissension between Tiffany Stratton and Nia Jax. Solid match, solid angle. And then backstage, we had Grayson Waller and Austin Theory mocking Kevin Owens for losing to Cody Rhodes at the Premium Live Event Bash in Berlin. Owens called them morons and idiots and said that him and Cody are fine. But what about Theory and Waller? Owens actually proposed a triple threat match so Theory and Waller could prove their friendship. And that match was officially set up for later. Next up, we had the return. After weeks of video packages, we had the return of Giovanni Vinci against Apollo Crews. Now, Vinci came out with this jumpsuit, generic music. Nobody really cared. He got in the ring. He was taking off his outfit, and guess what happened? Apollo Crews rolled him up and beat him. Literally like a 5-second match. Maybe even shorter than Kofi Kingston versus Brock Lesnar. Now, what was the point of this? I don't know. People are freaking out. People are like, oh man, they just buried Giovanni Vinci. He's going to be future endeavored. But remember, Joe Hendry got eliminated from that battle royal on NXT very quickly, and they ended up pushing him to the moon after that. So maybe this is just a setup for something more with Vinci. I don't know. All I can say is the music, the outfit, it wasn't clicking for me anyways. Maybe they're going to shed all that and he'll come out with a different persona. Who knows? But if they just gave up on him already, then boy, was that a waste of like 4 or 5 weeks of vignettes. Hopefully they got something. This is the Triple H era, and I'm going to let it play out and see what they come up with for next week. We had a Legado del Fantasma vignette. They were celebrating their success after Angel and Humberto won last week, and they said SmackDown is bound to be their turf. And they had some drinks to celebrate their win. Next up, we had the triple threat match. And by the way, I forgot to mention Nick Aldis set up Chelsea Green versus Michin for later. Kevin Owens versus Austin Theory versus Grayson Waller. Owens was going after both guys, but the numbers game caught up with him. Waller set up a table only for Owens to put Waller through it with a power bomb. And then after the commercial, we had a guy from the Edmonton Oilers provide a little assistance for Kevin Owens, triple threat match, no DQ. Theory got the upper hand on Owens for a while after the break, but then Owens made his comeback. He came off the top with a swanton, but Waller came back in, broke up the pin, and then Theory hit a rolling blockbuster to Owens, but then Waller tried to, I guess, steal the pin, and Theory did not appreciate that. And this was essentially their downfall. Owens was eventually able to get the win, pinning Theory with the stunner. Waller attacked Owens from behind after the match, and then Theory laid out Owens with the A-Town down. So Theory and Waller got their heat back after the match, and for now, they're still a team. Then we had an Andrade and Carmelo video package showcasing all their matches over the past several weeks. Michael Cole and Corey Graves did a classy thing and put over Fox for being great partners over the past 5 years. We had a video package highlighting all of SmackDown's big moments since debuting on Fox, and I did cover some of them at the start of this stream. We had LA Knight, coming to the ring, talking about his run as United States champion so far. We had Carmelo interrupt. Carmelo said he should be next in line for his U.S. championship. But then, no surprise here, Andrade came out there. Andrade brought up how him and Carmelo are actually tied 2-2. LA Knight said they can decide who's going to fight him, figure it out on their own time. Andrade got in LA Knight's face, and then Andrade shoved Carmelo right into LA Knight. LA Knight fought back. He gave a BFT to both Andrade and Carmelo, and was the last man standing here. Maybe they're going to do some sort of triple threat match. I guess we'll have to wait and see. Certainly seems to be moving in that direction, unless Andrade and Carmelo just have a fifth match and the winner faces LA Knight. But I could see them doing a triple threat at this point. We had Chelsea Green versus Michin. Michin's ribs were hurting, and she still managed to get in a lot of offense, and she was perhaps on the verge of winning, but then Piper Niven got on the apron. Chelsea rolled up Michin, but Michin was able to kick out. Chelsea Green got sent to the outside of the ring. Michin delivered a suicide dive, got Chelsea back in the ring, but then Piper Niven got in Michin's face. Referee was checking in on Chelsea, and while the ref was distracted, Piper hit a running senton, threw Michin back into the ring, and Chelsea was able to get the win with the Unpretty Her. So yes, Chelsea Green wins in Canada. Wins in her home country. Good for her. I guess Michin's going to need some backup here against Piper Niven and Chelsea Green. Thanks for the comment. Glad you liked the shirt. Alfred Hitchcock, all-time legendary movie director. We had our main event of the evening, DIY and the Street Profits teaming up against the Bloodline. But before the match, they had a backstage promo. They said each team wants the tag team titles. They have mutual respect, and they were going to work together to take out the Bloodline. Early on in the match, DIY and the Profits had the upper hand. They cleared the ring, but then things got settled. We had our standard match. Jacob Fatu tagged in, and that's when the tide turned. Bloodline got the upper hand for a while. Solo threw Ciampa over the announce table and was posing. After the commercial break, Ciampa managed to tag in both Gargano and Dawkins at the same time. So I guess that allowed both of them to get in the ring. Things broke down anyways. Everybody was brawling. Ciampa tagged back in. He got hit with the spinning Solo, but he was able to kick out. And then Ciampa grabbed Tama Tonga, suplexed him to the outside of the ring onto all the other competitors. Crowd chanted, "Holy shit," which got bleeped out. We got our final Fox censorship of all time, or at least for the foreseeable future. Maybe one day they'll have another deal with WWE. You never know. Then Fatu came back into the mix and was destroying everybody. He hit the Impaler to Montez Ford, and then Solo Sikoa tagged back in, hit not one, but two Samoan spikes to pin Montez Ford and pick up the 1-2-3 victory. Bloodline stood tall, celebrating. Solo Sikoa has the momentum now heading into next week's SmackDown on the USA Network. SmackDown was solid. I wouldn't say it was a great show, but of the three shows this week, Raw, SmackDown, Dynamite, I think SmackDown was the best of the three. I give it a B-. I think Dynamite had the best overall segment with Hangman Page setting Swerve's house on fire, but SmackDown, pretty good show, all in all. Lame duck show, but some good matches. You set up some angles for next week's SmackDown. Not too bad. Anyways, that's all I got for SmackDown. I hope you guys enjoyed the recap. If you did, please give this video a thumbs up on YouTube and spread the word about the No DQ channel. I will be back to recap AEW All Out. I'll be on the YouTube channel. You can check out the results coverage over on No DQ Saturday night. Stay tuned for that. Have a great weekend, everybody. Stay safe out there. Say yes to NoDQ.com, and I will see you all next time.